Hi and welcome again. My name is Whitaker with Katase, and the last video we shared with you was titled "What Made Us and Our World Sick is What We Have Been Believing, Thinking and Feeling." Today we are sharing another video with you which Kay created for the Secret Codes of Healing course. And in this video, Kay talks about the effects our thoughts and energetic information we are sending out have on water. And because we are 60 to 75% water in volume and more than 99% water in molecules, and animals and plants are even higher in the volume of water, in the video Kay shows how detrimental the effects of our negative thoughts are on water, and by extension not just on our health, but the health of all life on Earth. And she also shows very briefly how in the Reto work will resurrect water so that it regains its health-giving properties. Since this is only one of the many study videos from the course, she does not go into in-depth descriptions of the process. But at the end of the video, we share the symbols we use to resurrect water, so you can use them for yourself. We'll explain details on the download page. As I already mentioned, this is another one of the many study videos from the Secret Codes of Healing course. So you will see references to the course in the video. But again, as with the last video, those passages are very short and mostly show up in the beginning and at the end of the video. We cut everything else which was important to the studies but wouldn't make much sense to non-students. Keep an eye out towards the end for instructions to download the symbols for resurrecting water, and we hope you'll enjoy the presentation as much as we enjoyed creating it.
Welcome to Session 3, Part 2 of Secret Codes of Healing. Get your mind ready for exploring. Take a deep breath and get calm. Always remember the no-nos. No blind beliefs. No assumptions. No jumping to conclusions. No expectations. No judgments. No arrogance. And throw that hesitation right through the door. In this session, we will be working with fluids in the target's biosystem. Our human biosystems are, on average, about 60 to 75% water by weight. Animals vary from about 60% to 85% water by weight, and plants can be up to 95% water by weight. In terms of the number of molecules, your human body actually consists of over 99% water molecules. The role of water in cell biology is absolutely central. Dr. Pollack, a foremost water researcher, says if you don't understand how water interacts with the components of the cell, you haven't a clue of how the cell works. Water interfaces with every constituent inside the cells, demonstrates separated electrical charges, creating microbatteries, and changes its formation into a highly ordered crystalline structure. Dr. Pollack says the water in the cells is able to reorder itself and maintain electrical charges because of electromagnetic energies received from the environment, such as full-spectrum sunlight, infrared heat, and ultraviolet light. If you have a pathology of an organ, Pollack continues, it's not only the proteins inside that organ and cells that are not working, but also the water inside that organ. That water is not ordered in the way that it should be. Now, let's take a look at what our radionics research and the spirits had to say about water. Water isn't just the stuff that plops on your head when it's raining, or drips from your broken faucet, or gushes through your kitchen because a pipe broke. Water is a most amazing substance. Ancient traditions and the spirits say water is alive and conscious, that it has thought and feelings, and it's extremely complex. It responds and reacts to everything it contacts, energies and particles. It has a uniquely large capacity for storing information as energy, and continuously collects information, records historical events, collects thought forms and emotional energies, and it bonds with and carries a countless array of physical substances and elements. As it holds on to these particles and energies, it radiates out information about what it has collected. Water is influenced by everything around it, and water influences everything around it. Look at the water on our planet. We still have some of nature's wild water, mostly untainted, moving in natural cycles in remote places on our planet. And we actually have poisonous water, dead lakes, so full of industrial and agricultural products that the lakes contain no life within their boundaries. We have huge ocean zones, possibly twice the size of Texas, that are poisonous and with no life inside the zones, and that are heaped with a frosting of our garbage. And we have metropolitan water that has been driven through man-made structures and saturated with chemicals to finally end at your faucet. Let's take a little closer look at the water in the wildlands. In the wilds of nature, the water has fewer human thought forms to absorb and be distorted by. There are natural motions and activity through the dirt, rocks, plants, air, evaporation, mixing with lightning and as rain. There are living creatures of all sizes in the water and making contact with the water. There's the life-giving attributes of the full spectrum of sunlight. And there's the nurturing interactions with the fresh air. There are the influences from the naturally occurring geometries that the water contacts. There are fewer artificial chemicals and pollutions and poison in the water. The water has the opportunity to stay in its molecular crystalline forms. It's healthy and vibrant. This is a photo of a healthy water crystal, photographed by Dr. Masaru Emoto. The information the water is holding is from and about nature and the cycles of nature. It's about the state of health of the ecosystem it's living in. Unconditional love is moving through the wild waters at full capacity. All these factors help the water maintain its energetic communication with other water molecules and maintain its structuring capacity. And all this is the influence it radiates out. Now, look at the water that we humans have been tampering with. Water molecules are so delicate that the content of human thoughts and emotions can change their formation, energy level, cohesion with their molecular structure, and patterning with other water molecules, as shown here by Dr. Emoto's photograph of a partially formed water crystal. Our avalanche of destructive thought forms is almost instantly overwhelming for the water molecules. They degrade upon contact, and while holding on to these energies, the water becomes sick. One of the restorative factors for water is the variety of movements, activities, agitation, vortexing provided by a natural environment. The water gets stirred with air and thousands of different compounds and elements. It gets cleaned, energized, revitalized, and structured. In human-controlled water, this is all gone, and the water is forced to move in limited, controlled ways. This stresses the structural integrity of the water molecules and their crystalline lattice, and they can't maintain their pristine forms. Life always supports life, and in the wild, with this contact, the multitude of life forms supports the life of the water. Well, the life of the water supports the multitude of life forms. In human-controlled water, the majority of life forms are out of balance or gone, and sometimes even all the life forms are absent. This absence of living beings means a reduction in contact and a reduction in the flow of radiations, life energy, and information into the water and out of the water. In the wild, water comes into contact with the full spectrum of sunlight and collects multitudes of this light. This wide band of frequencies and energies feeds the water molecules in ways we haven't even begun to notice, let alone understand. This is like food for the water, and it shares this sunlight with everything. Wild water that has seeped into underground cavities is carrying sunlight, and water that is taken inside your body should have lots of sunlight stored inside its molecules. In water that has been dominated by humans, the pollution and garbage blocks significant amounts of sunlight from reaching the water molecules. As the water is moved into sanitation facilities, storage tanks, and pipes, it is completely blocked from the sunlight. The remaining sunlight is drained out of the water molecules by its surroundings. The level of sunlight contained in the water becomes depleted, and the water molecules become sick. In the wild, water is breathing clean, fresh air. It mixes and exchanges. This allows for trading of water and other molecules, evaporation, information and energy exchange. In human-controlled water, we have toxins and garbage, artificial containment environments, and air pollution, preventing water from interacting with the air. The water can't breathe. And just as with other life, this means illness for the water. In the wild, water is being influenced by all of the thousands upon thousands of naturally occurring geometrical forms that it contacts. The many different energy fields and electrical properties of these geometrical forms reestablish energy stores and energy fields within the water molecules. They help maintain the crystalline formations of the water molecules. They clean the water molecules of thought forms and unproductive information and energies. In human-controlled water, none of these things can happen, and the water grows sick. In the wild, the water doesn't contain the heavy load of pollutions and toxins. The water is free to explore being water, interact with nature, and take care of life. In human-controlled water, the water molecules and solutions are burdened with hundreds of thousands of different artificial molecules that reduce its life energy, sunlight, energy fields and flows, and keeps the water from performing its natural communications and actions. The water soaks up instead the energetic information of the physical toxins and pollutions, and communicates that energetic information out to whoever it is in contact with. What we have done to the water in nature is the same thing that we have done to the water inside our own bodies. Nature generates, carries, and shares unimaginable quantities of unconditional love, and water has one of the largest capacities for carrying and sharing unconditional love. All of the human-controlled water conditions reduce this property. So you could say our human-influenced water is, on top of everything else, heartsick. There is a beautiful natural tie, a bonding between water molecules where they share energies, unconditional love, and information extensively. In human-controlled water, all of the conditions listed above begin to weaken the communication capacity and isolate the water molecules from each other. In the wild, water is communicating with nature and helping life maintain itself. It can communicate directly in physical contact or in nonlinear scalar broadcasts. In human-influenced water, the human thought forms, energies of pollutions, and the suffocating environments take over the information-carrying capacity of the water molecules and dominate the information content and broadcasting. Water can get sick from just thought forms or the energy information about poisons alone. And then the water can't deliver its normal health-giving information to its surroundings. It only broadcasts the unhealthy, destructive information that it's collected. So, as I think you can see, water is a bit like nature's resource central. It keeps up with all the doings and comings and goings of all its neighbors and helps provide for the needs of everyone. And we need that. Nature needs that. That property is one of nature's balance keepers. It's one of the ways we get healing and can stay healed and acquire new information and energies. Energetic information is everywhere. It's part of who and what everything is in the 3D world. It's how we operate. And this information is shared extensively You could even say it's contagious, because we humans, as well as everything else, love to take part in whatever energetic gossip is at hand. That's really nice when it's all the nature-filled, health-stimulating, unconditional, love-filled energies. But what about the dysfunctional, health-depriving energies? Knowing what you know now, what do you think happens to us when we drink sick water, or bathe in it, or water our plants and animals with it? That's right, information exchange. We just ingested some information about how to be unhealthy into our very own bodies. Some of our own cells are going to try to live out that information they just received, because that's what they do. They act upon the information received. We call this acquired information energetic imprints. Pieces of information in the form of energy that get stored in our molecules and are radiating out their package of goods. Here's a photo of a water crystal that was exposed to love and gratitude. Keep in mind that there are an infinite number of different kinds and qualities of energetic imprints, and not all of them are harmful. Our biosystems need and use healthy imprints constantly to run the machinery of our bodies. These positive information imprints are the kind of energetic information we send in a radionics broadcast or a hands-on healing. There are 2 entire sections on energetic imprints in the manual in Part 10 Disorders, called Molecular Imprints and Water Imprints. And there is an entire section called Water in the manual in Part 7, Life Energy Systems. Check them out. Get familiar with them. Keep in mind, this water route of inappropriate imprint acquiring is only one way the body takes on incorrect information. The more disruptive imprints one has, the more momentum the disruption gets, and the instructions within the system on how to be a proper cell or organ or whole body are divided and conflicting. When one system collects enough momentum in an unhealthy direction, those cells start to lose the proper and healthy instructions provided by the energetic blueprint that designs and maintains the biosystem. Then the blueprint itself becomes distorted. It gets trashed. Our blueprint is what guides our genes and tissues, telling them what structure to form and what function to perform. The spirits say that sick water isn't hopeless. It can be resurrected. The spirits do this all the time, and we humans can learn how to heal the water too. In the manual, in the water section, in Part 7, and in the fluids section, in Part 6, there is a rate and symbols for resurrected water. Check them out and experiment with them. When we work with radionics or hands-on healing, we are clearing out dysfunctional patterns and information and broken pieces of blueprint, while implanting and restoring the health-giving information and patterns of that subject's perfect blueprint. Our universe always maintains copies of the perfect blueprint for everything, and we can access that to bring restoration. Watch the world. Watch your subjects, watch yourself for the presence and condition of the water. The fluids in our bodies are not just little boring puddles of innocuous liquids that our systems are pushing around. They are just as vibrant, important, alive, and interactive as every cell of your body. So pay attention to all these qualities as we go through the next exercises using the liquids of the body. Congratulations! You've just completed Part 2 of Session 3 from the Secret Codes of Healing course. Please follow any instructions in Part 2. When you are ready, continue your studies with a video for Part 3.